Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 9 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. It's time to start the last day of Turnabout Sisters, Day 3. This is a trial that should have never happened because we had the evidence. We had Red White right when we wanted him. But Red White has the entirety of the law system in his back pocket. And now, instead of him being on trial, Phoenix is on trial for a murder he didn't even commit. A murder of his own boss, for that matter. So now, Phoenix is going to have to literally combat the entirety of the crooked law system just to finally put Red White down for good. And speaking of which, here's Edgeworth to remind Phoenix that he's gonna get a guilty verdict no matter what. I mean, that's kind of a cold-hearted way to think, but that's how persecutors have to be. They represent the state regardless of who's guilty or who's innocent. So it's up to them to find out somebody's guilty regardless or if they're, I don't know, innocent or framed. So on that note, I might as well just come out and say, the one part I truly hate about this case is this day, is this trial. Now, I've made speculations and sprinkled on about how there's a lot of hand-holding in this case. Day 3 is where the hand-holding gets really obnoxious. And the worst part is, it's the second case. It would have been understandable if it was a long tutorial like the first case. But here, nope. So on that note, let us begin the trial. And oh boy, you will see my blood boil as this trial goes on. Sort of, because there are some good points out of this. Well, to begin, we forgot to mention one important, well, I forgot to mention one important detail. Last part, Red White is going to testify against you. Yes, the murderer of this case is now testifying against you. I already said that this is a double-edged sword for Red White. It leaves him exposed, and at the same time, he'll easily drop his guard. Well, on that note, we should reach some sort of objection, but it doesn't matter in this next this next option we're going to mention. Because you see, whether you let it go or raise an objection, Miles Edgeworth will still call Red White to the stand. However, when you raise an objection, it's going to make Miles Edgeworth look a little bit better. Although it doesn't do anything to your credibility, Miles will just simply lie his way around this. In other words, making up a BS excuse as to why Red White didn't show up in court. And the judge. Dear God, the judge. I think I've already said in part 1 that the judge can be very incompetent. It shows in this case. Dear Lord. Oh, and then there's this purple prick. Alright. But before we do, there's also a running gag that starts with this case. A running gag where Edgeworth is trying to get the name of the witness, and unfortunately the witness lollygags around. It's always a thing. Well, at least we get to see Edgeworth's patience get tested. I don't have anything against him. He gets better later on. But the fact this guy calls himself Blanco Nino. You know, he just called himself White Kid. I have nothing to say. But yeah, that's exactly what Blanco Nino translates to. So, yeah. All I have to say is this guy's gonna have to go down real hard. It's gonna take a while. In fact, it's gonna take another part to do. But it's time to rip his testimony 6 ways from Sunday. Now, let the testimony begin. If he's going to give it. But did he just say, I hope you made your peace with God? Oh! Oh! Let's cross-examine the hell out of this asshole as soon as his testimony is done. Now, this guy is going to, slip up somewhere. First off, he's talking about the bedlam coming outside. That would be one of his first slips up. But the one thing that he's gonna slip up is not here. But I do believe he's gonna slip up right here. That's where Red White will slip up. I mean, he just literally described his crime to the court. And he asked the court so far in his pocket, they practically believe it was Phoenix Wright. And of course, the judge is about to throw a guilty verdict. What the hell? I didn't even get a chance to cross-examine the guy. Alright, let's do this. Remember that statement where he said, Mia ran to the right? Press that statement. Oh, that's the thing. You're gonna have to press statements for him. You can't just up and show evidence until you actually see a true contradiction. Cause you see that credibility meter up there? Any lack of credibility will end up taking 2 from you. And if you miss at least 5 times, you're done. So you'll have no choice but to press his attack. I mean, press his statement, not his attack. I'm thinking of different games, sorry. Anyway, now that we pressed the statement and the statement has been changed to reflect the testimony, now you give Maya's... Okay, oh, actually, no, you give Miss May's report, I think. Yes, you give Miss May's testimony. Yes, give the testimony. I pressed the wrong button. So with that said, April May's testimony contradicts it. It contradicts his statement, because if he was in the hotel, everything you saw on the left would actually be on the right. As a matter of fact, the floor plans even prove that Red White contradicted his own statement. Because that would mean she would end up running into a dead end. And that right there just, that right there just pretty much sold him out right there. But there's a thing. If he was in the office, he would have ran left instead of right. Now, it doesn't matter what you pick. You can pick they're both right. Because at the same time, it's all going to lead to one thing. Red White was in, at the time, Fay and Company law office. So, I had to stop for a second there because the upload studio stopped at the 10-minute mark, but he was actually not viewing the crime at the hotel, as Capcom so graciously said. This is the port where you're gonna have to use... Oh, excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna pause right here. Sorry, my cat kicked down the door demanding food. Whatever the case is, folks, you want to point to the killer and present. Take that! Anywhere else would actually lose half of your credibility. So be careful on that. Because you're basically accusing Wright of being a killer, even though he is. And, I think Edgeworth just caught on. So, I think the judge is saying, anyone who's disturbing the court gets thrown out. And now Edgeworth's trying to cover the ass of Red White. Unfortunately, he has that grasp that this guy is a murderer. And it infuriates me so much. So what in the hell he's laughing about? So now, we have another testimony with this guy. So, we're going to have to do this again. Now, this testimony you don't have to press. However, you gotta pay attention. So, at this point, anything from anything past the third statement. So, past this statement here, so it would be this statement onward, you actually have him in a lie. Yeah, you're about to find out in just a few minutes. But we keep replaying the scene of Mia being cold-cocked by a statue. Oh, and for the record, they actually edited out the blood that was on her face, because it was in the Nintendo DS version. So on that note, the 4th through the 7th statement just so happens to be the only points of contention. And you do have a way to actually prove this guy wrong. And for the record, this too will take 2 notches off of your credibility. So, with that said, you can put Mia's autopsy report with the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th statement. So, show him that he is full of crap. And, of course, this, by the way, was Edgeworth's doing. Edgeworth had a up-to-date autopsy, and now it's about to bite him in the butt. So on that note, you want to try to, rekindle your redig your statement, basically. And of course, he got owned so badly he can't even use his mannerisms anymore. On that note, Edgeworth is trying to call for a recess. And, with that said, we're going to make sure that he answers the truth. Now that we know that this guy is trying to lie about Phoenix Wright hitting Mia twice, we know he's definitely lying because she went down on 1 hit. And on top of that, she went down instantaneously. Yeah, I was also trying to see how much time I had left on my Upload Studio recording. And now look at him. He's no longer got the arrogant smile. He's pretty much got his arms folded and he's pissed off. Now, he's gonna keep on saying that you attacked Mia. Now then, here's the thing. While the judge is trying to go along with this, you actually need to press a statement too. You're gonna need to, because this statement that you're pressing will end up revealing something very important. That right there, the very first statement where he said he heard a thing fall. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, how could he hear something fall if he wasn't in the vicinity? Nobody can actually hear something fall from a mile away. That's very freaking odd. I mean, yeah, they're right across the street, but still. The sound would actually have to echo, and it would dissipate by the time it reached their hotel room. So on that note, he had to rechange his testimony again, because we're gonna have to reveal exactly what that thing was heard. And he mentioned something about a light stand. This is the part where you bring out the glass shards. Objection! Told you they were going to come into play. See, those glass shards could not have been saw. Or seen, actually. Why did I say that? It couldn't have been seen from the position that he or April May was standing. And here's the thing. The stand was already broken. So nobody could actually see, but even then, it was in a precarious position too. As you probably saw in the floor plan, it looked like it was standing in the corner before it fell over. Now then, let's see Red White try to get his way out of this. Don't look like he can. So let's say big problemo. No problemo will actually get you a hit in the credibility. There's so many options that could cause your credibility to be destroyed. It's just unreal. So they got obvious answers that literally hold your hand throughout the entirety of this case. So, unimpeachable, he says? Now, here's the part where you're gonna have to use that floor plan. And the floor plan's gonna definitely come in handy. Oh, by the way, I had to, stop the game because of the fact that I was also hitting the 10-minute mark. So on that note, let's show him the proof. He wants proof, we're gonna give it to him. The proof is gonna be the floor plan. Because in order for him to actually see or hear the light stand, he had to be in the office. Now, their window obscures Faye's office's window. So bear that in mind too. So the only thing you probably would be able to see is the glasses. Or the glass shards. And if you can honestly see a light stand that happened to be in the area, then then you have to actually be in the office to do so. But otherwise, from their vantage point, you can't. And now, he looks like he's about to explode. He wouldn't have been able to see, let alone hear it, if he was in Gatewater Hotel. In other words, he pretty much lied. And that's the only way he can actually see the light stand from inside the offices of Fay & Company. And, yep, he just got pwned. That's right. Red White is finally breaking. Oh, this feels so satisfying. Somewhat. Even though, yeah, we did have a bunch of thou must moments, and anything I say or do wrong will end up ruining my credibility, but yes, he's about to break down. But Edgeworth, oh my god, Edgeworth, what the hell, dude? You're just gonna ruin my moment? Why? We had him! What is he going to do this time? Oh no. Oh crap. Oh, we're gonna make him confess. Oh, is he gonna make him confess for the murder? Well, no, he's going to make him confess about the wiretapping. Because that did actually happen. In other words, Edgeworth just literally dodged all of the accusations and pretty much all of the evidence that definitely points to Red White being in the building at the time. Yeah, he better have a damn good explanation for this. So, in other words, he basically just brought up the fact that April May's wiretapping happened in the office. So we basically confirmed that April May was a wiretapper under Red White's orders. Now, if you remember back in part 6, I do believe? If not 7, Edgeworth tried to dodge the question that the wiretap had nothing to do with the murder case. And now when Red White's about to go down, Edgeworth brings it up. Do you see what I mean by bullshit? Yes! This is absolute bullshit! So, with that said, Edgeworth just literally drew an alibi for Red White, even though Red White had absolutely none. In other words, we're screwed. Oh, we are so screwed. And we're about to come to the moment that I really don't like. Everything we just did has now been put on baseless conjecture, even though that's not true. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the part that I can't stand the most. Now, you remember I said about testimony and pressing witnesses and presenting things will always work, with the exception of a few people. Here's that exception! Oh, I hate this fucking case. Anyway, you have to look at all of these, but it doesn't really matter. None of these matter. You want to know why? Because no matter, you have to press all of these statements, You know what? Actually, you only gotta press them maybe once each. You cannot present anything. Otherwise, it's an instant game over on your credibility. Because every time you present something, half of your credibility will be gone. You present twice, you're done. That's it. And this is a but thou must moment that comes out of the blue. So now you have to press him on every single statement once, and then go through and blaze pass. Notice that the credibility meter doesn't have a single bar that turns red. The whole credibility is blue. That's because if you fuck up, you're done. Game over. That's it. You get a guilty. And you go back to the nearest save point, which is, if you haven't saved, at the beginning of this case. So make sure you save frequently. So on that note, press all you like. Edgeworth and Red White has an excuse for everything. Oh, this shit pisses me off. Why? Why? Why would you do this, Capcom? And also, if you press them if you press them enough times, the game will continue on. But primarily, you have to go through all of his statements just so you can proceed through the game. He's trying to bluff something out of him, but you can't. This is a but thou must moment. You're gonna have to go through the entirety of the you have to go through the entirety of the testimony. So that means we're gonna have to skim through. And yeah, we're gonna be forced to literally give up. Even though we came so far. Even though we almost handed Edgeworth his first loss. Even though we almost cleared our names. And more importantly, almost put Red White in jail. He literally is going to get away with this. Oh, god damn it. I'll see you guys in the next episode as we finally end Turnabout Sisters, which will make me even more infuriated because of how it ends. This is RVMan985. See you guys in part 10. I hate this fucking case!